absolutely still. This vision's based on movement.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for incredible practical effects from pre-2000s films that are still impressive today. Number 10. The Jog, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.
Stanley Kubrick's seminal film proves it doesn't take fancy CGI to make a truly convincing sci-fi movie. The famous but simple scene where one of the astronauts jogs around the outer part of the ship's centrifuge was done by staging the camera in a large rotating set. The result is a convincing illusion where the camera seems to follow and stay ahead of the runner. Kubrick had to get creative in his use of practical effects to simulate both weightlessness and artificial gravity. And the result is a space epic that's still extremely impressive today.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
Number 9. Fountain of Blood, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
This scene was a bloody nightmare, all right. This classic slasher film directed by Wes Craven contains tons of truly gruesome killings. For Glenn's death, however, something extra was needed.
Imagine it's like a lottery drum. There's a platform with guys waiting at the top. The drum turns, and when it hits the mark, boom, and that's the bet.
When Glenn falls asleep, he's sucked through a hole in his bed, and a geyser of blood then spews out. To make it happen, Craven built the set on a gimbal. Once he flipped it upside down, the crew dumped hundreds of gallons of red-dyed water through the hole. The effect wasn't without its dangers. The water reportedly caused the set to spin unexpectedly and made a huge mess. At least they got a truly iconic shot out of it.
What the hell did that, Lieutenant? I don't know. What's the coroner got to say?
He's in the jaw and puking since he saw it.
Number 8. Melting Head, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Marion, don't look at it. Shut your eyes, Marion. Don't look at it no matter what happens.
Speaking of nightmare fuel, the first Indiana Jones film definitely has its share. Seeing Nazis die on screen via divine wrath is always a thrill. But one gruesome death deserves special attention for its practicality. First, Steven Spielberg's special effects team made a rubbery mold of actor Ronald Lacey's head.
The shot required Ronnie Lacey to have a facial cast, and I've had that done myself, and it's no fun.
From this mold, they carved a skull from stone and covered it in layers of gelatin, which they then melted using propane heaters and a heat gun. Once achieved, the melting mold was overlapped with footage of Lacey screaming. The 1981 film Scanners similarly used gelatin molds over a fake skull in their famous exploding head scene. Now that is truly creative filmmaking, and all without CGI.
And I was amazed, especially at the melting head. I thought that was one of the most amazing effects I'd ever seen.
Number 7. The Final Fly, The Fly.
I'm becoming Brundlefly. Don't you think that's worth a Nobel Prize or two?
Even decades later, this transformation scene is still stomach-churning. After a slow deterioration resulting from a botched experiment, Seth Brundle finally transforms into a gruesome human-fly hybrid. To achieve the effect, the makeup and special effects team went to town on Jeff Goldblum, using prosthetics for his growing deformities.
I'm saying I'm an insect who dreamt he was a man and loved it. But now the dream is over.
The final stage of The Fly is actually a series of puppets maneuvered by cables and rods. A puppet was also used in The Fly's death when he's fused with the telepod. The team won a well-deserved Academy Award for Best Makeup for their efforts to turn Brundle into the Brundlefly.
My teeth have begun to fall out. The medicine cabinet's now the Brundle Museum of Natural History. You want to see what else is in it?
Number 6. The White House, Independence Day.
Time's up.
The explosion of the White House in Roland Emmerich's film is still as shocking as it was in 1996. A large plaster model of the building was constructed for the shot, which was decorated with dollhouse furniture inside to ensure that the debris looked realistic. Once done, the team put 40 explosives around the model.
This model probably cost in excess of $50,000. I get one shot at it.
The actual detonation was over in just under a second. but Emmerich used a high-tech camera to capture it in gorgeous slow-mo. The director has since made a career out of destroying major landmarks on film, but none have quite the impact of that Independence Day scene. Number 5. Mirror Shot. Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Can you learn stuff that you haven't been programmed with, so you can be, you know, more human and not such a dork all the time?
Making Arnold Schwarzenegger's head peelable is no small feat. And to this day, the scene where Sarah Connor takes out the T-800's microchip in front of a mirror still looks remarkably convincing. The mirror is actually a window, with Arnie sitting behind it facing the camera, while Linda Hamilton works on a dummy head.
Doesn't want you to do too much thinking, huh?
No.
Can we reset the switch?
Hamilton's twin sister Leslie was brought on to play Connor's reflection, and the two had to mirror each other's movements exactly. It was an extremely clever piece of special effects trickery that left viewers totally baffled.
No! Out of my way, John. Don't kill him.
Number 4. The Shuftan Process, Metropolis. You know you've made it as a visual effects artist when a whole process gets named after you. Created by cinematographer Eugen Shuftan, the most iconic use of it was in the classic German film Metropolis. The Shuftan process involves using plate glass and mirrors to create the illusion that miniature models are actually full-sized sets. It even enables the filmmakers to make it look like people are moving inside the miniatures. By the mid-20th century, the process was replaced by blue screens and other types of special effects. But when it comes to small effects that can achieve big results, few can best the Shuftan process. Number 3. Transformation, an American Werewolf in London.
Stay on the road. Keep clear to the moors. Thank you.
This scene alone took an entire week to shoot. After protagonist David gets attacked by a wolf, he begins to have strange dreams. And if you've seen the title of the movie, you know what comes next. Director John Landis put months of preparation into David's transformation into the titular beast. The film's crew created multiple different prosthetic heads and limbs to use at different stages of the metamorphosis. The hair growth was filmed in reverse, with the crew trimming it between shots and running the footage backward to make it look like it was growing. Landis also employed stop-motion animation and even animatronic devices. All these combined techniques make the scene incredibly visceral and convincing. Number 2. The T-Rex, Jurassic Park.
T-Rex?
Mm-hmm.
You said you've got a T-Rex?
Even decades later, Spielberg's iconic sci-fi masterpiece still astounds audiences with its realistic special effects. The film relies heavily on practical effects, with only 6 minutes of CGI making it into the final cut. The dinosaurs were created almost entirely using detailed, full-scale animatronics, including the massive T-Rex. No wonder the kids look so convincingly terrified. They're reacting to an actual life-size dinosaur, not a green screen. As for the T-Rex's bone-rattling roar, the film used recorded vocals of a tiger, alligator, and even a baby elephant. The result is a staggeringly realistic dinosaur. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Baby Xenomorph, Alien.
I don't want to talk about what it's made of. I'm eating this. What's the matter? The food ain't that bad, baby.
Of course, we must talk about the most realistically gruesome scene of all. The Xenomorph is one of the most recognizable and terrifying movie monsters thanks to the excellent design talents of H.R. Giger. He, along with the rest of the design team, made the creatures come to life.
Move down! Move down! Get out! Oh. No, not that way! The other way, God!
Giger designed the chestburster puppet himself, although his original idea went through some revision before it was implemented. Similar puppetry was also employed in The Thing for the peeling dog effect. While the actors in Alien knew about the puppet, they had no clue about the fake blood squibs, hence their real-life alarm. Thanks to Giger's expertise, the scene became one of the most memorable in cinematic history.
A worm in a living body. Oh.
Which practical effect still has you oohing and ahhing? Let us know in the comments down below.
Boy, do I hate being right all the time.
My God.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 practical effects in horror movies.
Hi! It's me, Chucky. What do you think?
For this list, we'll be looking at the best, most believable or iconic examples of practical effects found within horror movies. Do you have a personal favourite? Let us know in the comments. Number 10, The Shark, Jaws. It's well-known movie lore at this point that Steven Spielberg and crew had one heck of a time getting the shark, affectionately named Bruce, to operate correctly on the set of Jaws.
This shark, swallow you whole. Shaking, tenderizing, down you go.
The issues were so severe, in fact, that Spielberg was forced to hold back on showing the final special effects, which succeeded in building up the tension towards a final reveal. And to be honest, we actually think Bruce looks pretty good.
That's a 20-footer.
25. 3 tons on them.
Worries about the shark looking fake certainly seemed to melt away during scenes such as the first on-screen appearance, or the harrowing demise of Quint late in the film. Jaws is considered an all-time classic for a reason, and one of those reasons is certainly cinema's favourite shark.
You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Number 9, Digestion Death, The Blob. There are few horror remakes from the 1980s that have held up as well as 1988's The Blob.
The thing on that man's hand killed him, and then it killed Paul. And whatever it is, it's getting bigger.
In fact, many fans of the genre point to this entry as perhaps the finest example of the titular creature on screen. It's difficult to argue this point when the gross special effects are on display, such as the graphic digestion of Paul early on in the film.
Doctor, come in here quickly!
I'm with a patient.
There's a man dying in here, hurry!
Excuse me a moment.
The violence of his death is so brutal and realistic that it becomes difficult to even associate this version with the 1950s counterpart. At the same time, the willingness of director Chuck Russell and crew to absolutely go for it with this level of gross alien slime consumption has made The Blob the stuff of horror legend.
I did see your dad killed Paul.
Sheriff, how about it, Herb? Can we take her home now?
Yeah, you may as well, Tom, and make sure she gets a good sleep, huh?
Number 8, Chucky, Child's Play. The production of 1988's Child's Play is another example where restraint and tension actually led to the final effect being all the more impressive. The movie takes a while in building things up to the point where Chucky actually moves, speaks, and comes alive while in the presence of an adult. Up until that point, the potential for it all to actually be just the figment of a child's imagination is plausible.
Now you don't really think that Chucky is alive, do you?
However, once we watch Chucky's scurrying feet, see those dangerous hands, and hear that iconic voice from Brad Dourif, it's official. A full-fledged horror icon is born. Seriously, the puppeteering and animatronics on display are top-notch. Number 7, The Shunting, Society. You may be asking yourself, what the heck is a shunting? To which we'd reply, you're gonna be sorry you asked.
After the first shunting, we'll have that special treat we've been hearing so much about.
That's because this infamous sequence from the 1989 body horror flick Society is the stuff from which perverse nightmares are born. Special effects guru Screaming Mad George achieves here some sort of absorptive body melding as high society aliens suck out nutrients from their victim in perhaps the grossest way possible. There's an almost gleeful humour to the scene, as classical music accompanies a symphony of slurping noises, all while George's sticky special effects work their magic. Don't say we didn't warn you.
You know, you really deserve what's going to happen to you, you know. What's going to happen? You're going to make a wonderful contribution to society.
Number 6. Henrietta Knowby, Evil Dead 2. The first installment of Sam Raimi's Evil Dead franchise boasts some serious special effects, particularly when taking into account the director's limited budget.
Why have you disturbed our sleep? Awakened us from our ancient slumber.
That said, there's a marked improvement with the sequel, as evidenced by this fantastic bit of work from special effects designer Tom Sullivan. The director's brother, Ted Raimi, assisted in the production in bringing Henrietta Knowby to life, playing the woman with heavy makeup as her deadite form becomes more progressed. Elsewhere, actor Lou Hancock plays Henrietta in her first deadite form, although we admit to being partial to the creature going full gooseneck, as it were, showcasing first-hand Sullivan's imaginative creations. Number 5. Glenn's Death, A Nightmare on Elm Street. The world of special effects is full of questions like, how did they do that? The A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise has been front and centre for a number of such questions, such as the time when the third instalment shoves poor Jennifer into a television.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV.
Perhaps even more impressive, however, is the iconic bed scene from the first film, where a young man gets sucked into his mattress, never to return. That is, unless you're counting the geyser of blood that shoots out onto the ceiling, in which case Glenn Lance most definitely returned to make an impression. Just not the impression he likely intended.
What's the coroner got to say? He's in the jaw and puking since he saw it.
Number 4. Chestburster, Alien. Directors will often try a number of different approaches with actors, all in order to achieve that one perfect take.
I don't want to talk about what it's made of. I'm eating this. What's the matter? The food ain't that bad, baby.
Ridley Scott tried something with the iconic chestburster scene from the first Alien film, in that he didn't actually tell the cast what specifically to expect. As a result, the reaction of actors like Veronica Cartwright are very real and very effective, as the whole cast got to view this tiny xenomorph burst out of poor John Hurt's chest.
I'm gonna have something to eat before we go back.
I need something to
Yeah. One more meal before bedtime, I'm buying.
Hey, that's a break.
It's grim, goopy, and never fails to grab our attention each and every time. As for Cartwright, maybe she would have liked the Spaceballs variation a wee bit better.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
Number 3. Brundlefly, The Fly. The cinema of body horror maestro David Cronenberg is littered with examples of special effects brilliance.
Help me. Help me to be human.
One of these is the head explosion against which all others are measured, from 1981's Scanners. Elsewhere, the amazing makeup effects used on Jeff Goldblum in Cronenberg's remake of The Fly stand as some of the finest ever achieved.
I'm saying, I'll hurt you this day.
Goldblum appears practically unrecognisable as Seth Brundle messily devolves into Brundlefly. He gains super strength, sure, but soon pieces of him are starting to fall off, and that acidy spit sure doesn't look too pleasant. Finally, the transformation is complete, and the fly's grotesque final form is revealed.
I'm afraid!
Don't be afraid!
No. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Number 2. Transformation Sequence, An American Werewolf in London. We just mentioned how Cronenberg perfected the subtle art of head explosions with scanners, but what about werewolf transformations? Cinema is populated by excellent examples, from Universal's original Beast to Joe Dante's impressive werewolves in The Howling. But, and this is a very big but, all of them need to take a knee and bow their collective heads to the alpha of this wolf pack, an American Werewolf in London.
Help me! Help me!
Director John Landis and special effects legend Rick Baker constructed a transformation sequence that not only looks scary, but looks painful. It convincingly depicts the horror of physically transforming from man to wolf in bone-stretching detail. It's simply the best to ever do it. The goat of wolves, if you will. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. All of it. The Thing. It's difficult narrowing down one specific special effects moment from John Carpenter's 1982 masterpiece, The Thing.
I don't know what the hell's in there. It's weird and pissed off, whatever it is.
This remake of The Thing from Another World remains leagues away from its 1950s predecessor in terms of special effects, thanks to a couple of certified legends, Rob Bottin and Stan Winston. The entire team created cinema magic with nightmare imagery, such as the dog thing early on in the film, as well as the disgusting sequence where an assimilated Norris is defibrillated, with harrowing results. The Thing may have flopped during its initial run, but today it's thankfully been adorned with all of its proper genre accolades. It may just be the finest example of practical effects ever laid on film.
When this thing attacked our dogs, it tried to digest them, absorb them.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.